Hey everyone, welcome back to Centrelink Age Pension. And before you scroll past this video, I need you to hear one sentence. If you are over 60, own a home, or you're even thinking about buying, selling, downsizing, or renting out a property in Australia this year, the rules just changed under your feet, and most people have no idea. Not a little bit changed, meaningfully changed. And if you get this wrong, it could cost you your pension, your concession card, or thousands of dollars a year. So stick with me for the next few minutes, because today we're breaking down exactly what shifted in Australian property law and Centrelink rules from the 1st of July 2026, what it actually means for your age pension, and what you need to do right now to protect yourself. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why this matters so much right now. Every year, the 1st of July brings a wave of financial changes in Australia. Tax brackets shift, superannuation rules update, and Centrelink adjusts its thresholds. But this year is different, because 2026 isn't just an indexation update. It's the year several major property-related reforms that have been debated for the last 2 years actually started taking effect, or are locked in and counting down to landing soon. And because so many retirees hold most of their wealth in their home or in an investment property, these changes hit seniors harder than almost any other group in the country. So let's start with the good news, because there is some. From the 1st of July 2026, the age pension assets test thresholds went up. This is part of the regular indexation Centrelink does to keep pace with the cost of living and rising asset values. And it means the amount of assets you can hold before your pension starts reducing, or before you lose it altogether, has increased. If you're a homeowner, your threshold is different to non-homeowners because your home is treated separately. If you were previously just over the limit and missing out on even a small part pension, this update might now bring you back into range. And that matters because qualifying for even a tiny part pension is often the golden ticket to something even more valuable, the pensioner concession card. That card alone can save you serious money on medicines, energy bills, and council rates. So step one, if you were knocked out of the pension in the last year or two because your assets were just slightly too high, go back and check your numbers again, because the goalposts moved in your favor. Now here's where it gets more complicated. Your base pension payment rate has not increased on the 1st of July. That's a common point of confusion every single year. Centrelink only adjusts the actual dollar amount you're paid twice a year, in March and in September. So if you're on the full pension already, don't expect a bigger deposit this month. That update is still coming in September. What did move on the 1st of July is the eligibility thresholds, the lines in the sand that determine who qualifies and for how much. Two different things, easy to mix up. And mixing them up is exactly how people miss out on entitlements they're actually owed. Now let's get into the property law side of this, because this is where things get genuinely important for anyone sitting on a home or a second property. First, the core principle that has not changed. And I want to be really clear about this, because there has been a lot of scary clickbait-style noise about this online. Your primary home, the place you actually live in, remains exempt from the age pension assets test. That has not been abolished. It has not been capped. If you're worried that owning your own home is suddenly going to disqualify you from the pension, take a breath. That is not what's happening. What is changing is everything around that home, how it's taxed, how it's transferred, how downsizing is treated, and how state-based property rules interact with your retirement planning. Let's talk about the states, because property law in Australia is largely a state and territory responsibility, not a federal one. And from the 1st of July, both the ACT and Tasmania rolled out updated stamp duty settings and revised first home buyer arrangements. Now you might think, I'm not buying my first home. Why does this matter to me? Here's why. If you are planning to help a child or grandchild into the property market, gifting a deposit, going guarantor, or restructuring your own assets to assist them, these stamp duty and eligibility changes directly affect the strategy that makes the most financial sense. And if you're a retiree thinking about downsizing into a smaller property in the ACT or Tasmania, updated stamp duty settings can change your total moving costs by tens of thousands of dollars. This is not a minor technical footnote. This is the kind of detail that should be sitting in front of your financial advisor before you sign anything. Next, and this is the one causing the most panic in Facebook groups and comment sections right now, negative gearing and capital gains tax reform. Parliament has passed changes in this space, but here's the critical detail almost nobody is explaining properly. These measures are legislated, but not all of them are active yet. Some take effect later. So if you own an investment property and you're trying to decide whether to sell now, hold, or restructure ownership, timing is everything. Selling before or after these provisions fully land could mean a very different tax outcome and a very different impact on your asset's test position with Centrelink. This is exactly the kind of decision where rushing because of a scary headline can cost you more than doing nothing at all. If you own an investment property and you're over pension age, please do not make a snap decision based on a video, including this one. Get personal advice first. Now, for those of you with a self-managed super fund holding residential property, there's another piece of this puzzle. The general transfer balance cap, the lifetime limit on how much you can move into the tax-free retirement phase of super, increased this year as part of regular indexation. If you're starting a retirement phase pension for the first time, you get access to the new, higher cap. If you already have one running, you only get a partial increase based on how much of your previous cap you'd used. For property-heavy super funds, this cap is often the exact thing that decides how much of your fund's assets, including any rental income, can sit in that tax-free environment. It's technical, I know, but if this applies to you, it could be worth thousands of dollars a year in tax efficiency, so it's worth a conversation with your fund's advisor or accountant. Let's also touch on aged care, because property and aged care are joined at the hip for a lot of Australian seniors. The new Aged Care Act came into full effect at the end of last year, and its ripple effects are still working through the system in 2026. These reforms were designed to improve the quality and sustainability of the aged care system, but one side effect is that they've adjusted how some contributions towards care costs are calculated for certain residents. If you or a family member are considering entering residential aged care, or you're weighing up whether to sell the family home to fund a care contribution, this is now a more complex decision than it used to be, because the interaction between your home, your pension, and your aged care contribution has shifted. Again, this is not a reason to panic. It's a reason to get proper, personalised advice before making any big move. There are also some smaller state-specific updates worth knowing about if you live in the right postcode. In Victoria, renters, including older Australians renting in retirement, can now access a portable rental bond scheme, letting an existing bond transfer between properties instead of needing a whole new bond every time you move. In Western Australia, eligibility for the seniors card has expanded, opening it up to more residents regardless of how many hours they work, which can be a nice win if you're semi-retired and still doing some paid work. These are smaller changes, but they add up, and they're the kind of thing most seniors never hear about because it's buried in a press release nobody reads. So here's what I want you to actually take away from all of this. Number one, your family home is still protected under the Age Pension Assets Test. That fundamental principle has not changed, so don't let scary headlines convince you otherwise. Number two, the assets test thresholds went up on the 1st of July. So if you were previously just over the limit, go check again. You might now qualify for a part pension and that valuable concession card. Number 3, your actual payment rate does not change until September, so don't expect a bigger payment this month. Number 4, if you own an investment property or you're thinking about downsizing, selling, or restructuring ownership, the combination of state stamp duty changes and upcoming negative gearing and capital gains reforms means timing genuinely matters. And this is not a decision to make alone or in a rush. And number 5, if aged care is on the horizon for you or someone in your family, the interaction between your home, your pension, and care costs has become more complex, so professional advice now can save enormous stress later. I know this is a lot to take in, and honestly, that's the whole problem with how these changes get communicated in this country. Nobody sits down and explains it properly. It gets buried in 50-page government documents or turned into scary clickbait, and everyday Australians, the people who work their whole lives and just want a fair, comfortable retirement, are left to figure it out on their own. That's exactly why this channel exists. My job here is to translate all of this confusing policy language into plain English, so you can make confident decisions about your own retirement, your own home, and your own pension. If this video helped clear things up for you, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because Centrelink and property rules are going to keep shifting throughout this year. And I'll be here breaking down every single update the moment it happens, before the confusion sets in. Drop a comment below and let me know, has your assets test position changed with this update, or are you weighing up a property decision right now? I read every comment, and I might just cover your exact situation in an upcoming video. Give this one a like if you found it useful. It genuinely helps this information reach more Australian seniors who need it. Thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, take care of your pension, and I'll see you in the next one.